In today's video, I'm going to be replacing my treadmill deck. So typical treadmill decks, you can get anywhere from 600 to 1200 miles. They're made of a press board with a slick surface. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to replace it, the wood you should get, and how to get the surface. And I'll be using a metallic surface. So without further ado. All right, so I've gotten my old treadmill deck off. You see this big crack down the middle. It just got worse and worse, and it'll end up destroying your belt. So I went ahead and took it off. The piece of plywood I have back here costs about 50 bucks from Lowe's. It's not going to be, this is not going to be its single purpose to make this. It's going to have other purposes. So part of it's going to be the treadmill deck, but then I'm also making some shelves with it. What I'm going to do is place this on top. All right, I'm going to line it up perfectly. It's exactly the same thickness. And the reason it's important to line this up very well, you're going to cut it with it on there. You're going to have your holes to drill into this. So you're going to actually use this deck as a pilot for your holes. Don't break your clamp by tightening it too hard. All right, so the front is very flush. So going along the sides are very flush. In this deck, there are a lot of different holes. 2 small holes, large holes, another small hole. That's going to be to place the railing on the side. What I'm going to do is take my saw and cut it. All right, so now I've got it cut to size, fairly easy, just cutting along the edge. I actually took a little sliver of the edge of the other deck off. Now I'm gonna be putting it back on here and drilling the hole. All right, so whenever you put this on here to get ready and drill your holes, you wanna make sure that you have the smoothest side of the piece of wood that you're gonna be using, which is why you're buying a relatively expensive piece of plywood. Then you're going to be placing it face up. So then this is face up just like it would be. So you have one face up here, one face up here, put them on top of one another. So whenever you drill your holes, because in some of the holes you'll have to drill all the way through, and then you might have to use a larger diameter bit and go partially in, just the way that some of the screws fit. That's why it's very important to keep this and trace it out. All right, so now I've got the piece of wood exactly squared up, lined up. You'll notice up here at the tops, it's not exactly straight across, and there's little indentions here. With the treadmill, it doesn't matter. Those are just designed for this piece of wood, maybe the manufacturing process. On the treadmill itself, there's no indentation or need for that space, so you can just make it straight across, a perfect triangle. All right, so I'm going to be starting off with the holes here on the corner. You'll notice a rather long hole right here. That's actually not used for anything. I didn't unscrew anything from the treadmill, so that's going to make it a little bit easier to not have to make that elongated hole. Looks like we have a 5/16 bit. We have a 1/8 bit. we're going to use a 1/2 bit for the top of this. Of course, we'll know which ones it is and we'll actually take this off the top. So let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, so for this one, my bit's slightly smaller, so what I'll be doing is reaming it out a little bit. All right, so we'll go around and check our holes, make sure they're all perfectly lined up. Remember that we have all of the ones that we need. All right, so I finished up putting my holes in there. Next, I'll be finding an adhesive and applying the metallic surface that it's going to be gutter flashing. So stay tuned.